One thing that is definitely causing some anxiety right now is money and personal finance. And first off, I want to say that everyone's health is paramount. That is the most important thing. The goal of this video is to lay out some foundational elements of personal finance that you can look at right now and take action on right now to reduce some of that anxiety and feel a bit more in control of your personal finances. If you are lucky and you have some money set aside for investing or something of that nature, is also an interesting time to look at that, and I'll get to that later in the video. Now, I am not a financial advisor, and everyone's case is unique and nuanced, and you should seek out a professional's help because you could be anywhere from feeling fearful and not knowing what to do, or all the way up to feeling opportunistic and ready to invest. And a financial advisor can help you accomplish that. The first thing that you need to look at is an evaluation of where you are right now. If you don't have a budget, I'll link a video in the description below and at the end of the video. But if you do, I'd encourage you to pull that up right now. And often budgets get a little outdated, so I'd encourage you to go through and update your income, your expenses, everything going on in your financial world. This is going to give you a bit of a foundation to work from. As for income, this could be anything from your job to EI or some of the emergency plans that are available. But beyond just what that number is, I want you to think about what is the stability of that. So if it is EI, how long is that going to last? If it's a job, can you work from home? Is your company still profitable? Do they have the cash flow to maintain the workforce? Have they made statements about maintaining the workforce? Or do you work in a retail setting or something of that nature that is not so stable and is likely to lead to layoffs? If it's the case for you that your income is not stable, I'd encourage you to look at what the government programs are right now so that if it is the case that you get laid off, then you know exactly which ones you can start to apply to. Additionally, if you're not feeling very stable, I'd encourage you to look into what kind of additional income streams that you might be able to start doing. So do you have a skill that you can market online, like say graphic design or something of that nature that doesn't require you to be in person, but there are sites like Fiverr and Upwork that you can go to and you can actually put your services on there and bid for jobs and make some additional income in this time of instability. Next up, take a look at your expenses. How much are they? Go into your credit card statement and your bank statements. Look at how much you're actually spending each month. And one that's easy to change right away if you want to reduce your expenses, which I would strongly encourage you to do. I just reduced my expenses. I just went into my credit card bill and I looked, what are the recurring payments that I end up spending at $100 or $200 on every month without even thinking about. So for me, this is things like Audible, Adobe, and iTunes. You may have Netflix. You might not want to get rid of that right now. But I went in, I just went online, and with Audible, I was actually able just to put on pause my subscription so I can still listen to all my books, but I don't have to pay right now. With Adobe, they actually let me keep using the plan for 2 months and without paying as part of a retention strategy. So I'd encourage you to look into things like that. Call your insurance provider, and if you're not driving to work anymore, that changes your insurance premiums. And the more that you can reduce your expenses now, the more you're going to have left over. Those things are kind of easy to change, and then there's the harder things to change, like rent, car payments, mortgages, things of that nature. And I do understand that some places they're allowing you to put deferrals on those payments. What's unclear to me is how this is going to impact your credit score. So if you plan on applying for some of those deferrals, it could be a huge help, but definitely look into what effects it may have on your credit score, because that will affect your cost of borrowing and ability to borrow down the road. Next up, take a look at how much you have in savings. And I'd encourage you to look at your savings that are liquid, they're cash, they're not volatile, it's not stocks that might be down 30% right now. It's things like cash, gold, money market funds. Look at all of these and look how many months or weeks or years of expenses do these cover. And that'll give you a bit of an idea of your runway, so to say, if your money was to stop coming in through your income. Now, if you do have that kind of savings, an emergency fund, I would really encourage you to keep it as an emergency fund. Don't get too many ideas about investing while the stock market is down 30% or something like that. But if you do have a stable job, if you're an essential service or your company, you know it's not going anywhere, you can work from home, it's not going to be affected by everything going on, and you've got an emergency fund, you got that income, and you've got some savings set aside, then you could start to look at some opportunities in investing. Value investors like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, among many others who have been very successful, don't actually invest very much when the market's doing really well, like say a year ago. They wait for times like these and wait for times like these to get even worse to start looking at companies that are really on sale. Right now, they're on sale about 30%, by and large. They'll often wait until they're down about 50%, and some are, which I understand Warren Buffett is starting to look at. But looking at individual stocks is very difficult. It can be very profitable if you know what you're doing, if you can do financial analysis, if you can actually put a valuation on companies, if you can understand their liquidity, that they have low debt, among many, many other factors. And if you can do that, by all means, start doing your homework, start putting those valuations on companies, looking at their liquidity, seeing which ones are going to make it through the pending recession. And that can be a very profitable endeavor for you. If you're sitting there thinking, okay, well, I don't know that, what do I do? I really encourage you to start to learn. And by watching this video, it shows that you are interested in learning things of that nature. But you may start to look at things like ETFs and index funds of broader markets like the S&P 500, the TSX, and so on. But, how do we know this is a good time? We're down 30%. Are we going to go down more? Are we going to go up more? Again, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not a recommendation per se, but something that I am doing is I'm going to start to invest in tranches. So I'm going to put a little bit of money in now, and I have last week and the week before, but it is not the majority of the money I have set aside for investing. I'm going to wait, as more information comes in, more unemployment, more economic outlook, then I'll say, okay, I'll put another tranche in, and then maybe I'll wait another month or two. Who knows the timeline? It's unpredictable. But I'm going to look at putting, about 15% in now, then maybe 25, and just keep on adding it in down the road, all along monitoring how the recession and recovery are going, and then also saving as much as I can along the way, and understanding that I need an emergency fund as well, and I can't be investing in these super risky assets. But by doing dollar cost averaging over time, you're not going to hit the exact bottom, but you're going to get some investments while the stock market is down. But honestly, the biggest thing that you should do right now is just sit down at your computer, take an hour, look at your budget, look at your income, expenses, savings, emergency fund, potential to invest, the stability of your job, your income prospects, how you can reduce your expenses. And just knowing all of this information is really going to reduce your anxiety. And then whether your situation is good, bad, or ugly, you're at least going to know the numbers and know you have a place to start from that you can go and take more action on. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps. If you want to see more content on personal finance and investing, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to get notifications when I release new content. I wish you all health and safety. That is paramount here, and I hope that you can get a foundation set for your personal finances and investments that helps you feel better.